Dear colleagues, I am delighted to present our ISITE project called Territorial, Identité, and Patrimonial Dynamics. This project brings together several partner laboratories, as you see on our PowerPoint, Artis, ISTA, Chrono Environnement, l'ISPEN, as well as the Besançon Museum des Beaux-Arts et d'Archéologie, and the city of Besançon. In a short time, I will outline the main direction of this project. The project relies on an interdisciplinary continuum within UBFC. Researchers will have to further our knowledge of Sequania. Sequania is a territory in eastern France, partially localized in Bourgogne-Franche-Comté. Researchers will question the organization of this space from the conquest by Jules Caesar in the 1st century before Christ to the reforms of Diocletian in the late 3rd century after this. Sequania is to be understood as an ancient policy whose territory was organized under Roman rule around a main town, Besançon, on the basis of a space that was already intensely structured and populated before the arrival of the Roman in our territory. Sequania identity should therefore be examined through the prism of a territory and through its regional and global dynamics. Sequania is indeed lying at the crossroad of several spaces through this proximity to and connection with several other major polities of Gaul and its location on the major lines of travel. The land is part of the province of Germania Superior from Domitian's time in adjacent to the German limes and was covered by transport routes and was used by Rome to move troops and supplies smoothly to the frontier. Sequania is therefore a crucial territory of political, commercial, and cultural exchange in the region. The research aims to provide a better understanding of the internal and the external mechanism by which an ancient society was defined and through which it operated in its territory context. We will study the relation between two cultures, the local culture, which is before the Roman conquest, and the Roman culture, which is after Caesar conquest. And also, we will study the relation between two cultures. I will take an example. Economic questions which regulated the daily life of Sequans and rely on local adaptation and integration on the Roman system of trades and the circulation of goods. Sequania was reputed for its pig farming and the salting and the smoking activities that was linked as consequence. First, an exploitation of the vast local forest. Second, the extraction of salt at Gorzon, Salins-les-Bains, and Lens-le-Saunier. Third, the construction of smoking and the drying workshops as at Luxeuil-les-Bains or Damblon. All the Sequanian products were finally exported from Sequania, Mont-d'Or, and Saint-Germain-en-Montagne as far afield as Rome itself. The human activities have to be understood in both ways that define identity, local adaptation and inclusion within a vaster administrative and economic meshwork than that of the Gallic tribe, the context of the empire. The research are based on ancient sources. So we have to collect, index, preserve, analyze, and restore data using digital tools, databases, three-dimensional technologies in order to enhance archivist archaeological sites, numismatic, and epigraphic material. That's why we have chosen objectives that can be archived during the time of the 36 months allowed. These objectives can be grouped into two sets: research objectives, RO, and communication objectives, CO, in order to let people, not only researchers, know about the question. RO number 1, its mean reconstruct an area where the river Doubs was crossed by means of underwater excavation of a Roman bridge at Pontoux on the Besançon-Chalon route, dated between the 1st century before Christ and the 4th century after death. The restitution of the landscape of Pontoux will be supplemented by investigation of the sites on the banks and the paleo environment. At the end, the site was made by virtual reality composition. RO number 2 aims to produce a synthesis of ancient coinage of the Sequania capital by examining more than 400 unpublished coins from recent and well-documented digs. Comparison of the material with that of other civitas capitales, such as Langres or Autun, will be used to determine the particularity of the coinage type of Besançon. RO number 3 contribute to recent studies of stoneworking through two innovative approaches. First, the analysis of stone as an epigraphic or iconographic medium. This medium is part of trade activities and exchange in territories in response to specific demands and needs. Second part of the work, the analysis of the figurative repertory. I will provide an opportunity to compare the elements highlighted by epigraphy and those evoked by sculptured decoration. RO number 4, the study of epigraphic materials will allow to propose an onomastic and sociological analysis. The aim is to establish complete integration with Roman culture, or on the contrary, the survival of a pre-Roman Sequania identity apparent in the choice of the names. The data will be entered in an epigraphic databank and published. RO number 5. The researchers will collect and complete information about rural sites by designing an internet interface accessible to the general public. Acculturation varies a lot in the countrysides. Comparing several geographical areas will provide an opportunity to understand continuity and cultural and material change. That means modes of construction. That means mode of decoration, consumption, land management, religious and funerary belief and participates, and so on. RO number 6, it consists of publishing our results in scientific journals associated with the participating researcher centers. By communication objective, as you see, we mean that the transmission of knowledge to both the scientific community and the general public is essential. We have therefore wished to combine this double challenge in making the Sequania heritage available. CO1, a masterclass in numismatics was organized last year to study coins that have not yet been fully inventoried and dated. The course had run over several days at the European Archaeological Center at Bibracte. CO number 2, an exhibition that could be entitled From People to Civitas Living in Sequania in Roman Time will be organized in conjunction with Besançon. A catalogue will be published representing the results, in particular the project to reconstruct the Pontus set of the reconstruction of inscriptions or monuments, including those of Besançon, Luxeuil, Villard-Derrière. We also work on the policy of collection of antiquities through the representation of the region's major antiquarians, who put together collection from the 16th century onwards. They have enriched public collection. I hope that I respected the time. Thank you very much.
So we have time for questions. Yes?
What is the time span by the research, this study of the Sequania sub-civilization, or what is the time span? How many centuries or many decades do you deal with?
Yeah, it's from Jules Caesar conquest. It's mean about at the end of the first century before Christ, and we can project our research until third century after Christ. After this.
And when exploiting written data of that time, do you are you able to notice some change in the, for instance, in the language? Because it might be naive, but to identify this as a specific culture, wouldn't it be related to a specific language or dialect in using Latin or in any kind of written form? Do you notice that in the exploration you do?
The better way to answer you for this question is epigraphy. Epigraphy, it means Latin inscription on the stone. And we have a very good way to analyze the linguistic evolution. It's by onomastics analysis. Because when we have a romanization of this area, people change their name, and they take Latin name, for example. But somewhere in Latin identity, we call a trianimina system, which is praenomen, nomen, and cognomen. Sometimes we have a cognomen, which is the old Celtic name, only name. And by this way, we can understand that the people was, we have a Celtic culture, a Celtic language practice, and by domination of the Roman, they will change. Yeah, donc it's very, very, very nice way to understand it. But unfortunately, we haven't any book which was written in the Celtic period by Celtic people. We have the mass book, which is very famous, is the Bellum Gallicum of Jules Caesar. But it's Roman view on the Celtic area, and it is so subjective. And by this way, we are obliged to make interference between several sources: archaeological, numismatic, epigraphic, and literary sources to make a very objective construction of Sequania identity.